Hello and welcome to this week's Stories Behind the Stories for July 30th. Hard to see that July is already almost over. I'm your host, Casper Wehrhahn, and today I'm in the big chair and have Eoin Devereux with me. Thank you, Eoin, for coming and joining me this week.
Well, what else am I going to do?
Gotta do something to fill the time, right? But yeah, no, we have a very good paper to go through this week, and I know we say that a lot of weeks, but it's definitely true. We have a full A section and B section just chock full of good stories from the area. And starting off on the front page here, a very good thing to see, and hopefully we'll get to see more of things like this. Neepawa Tourism was able to host its first, hopefully annual, Makers Market down at Riverbend. And Eoin, this was something that you covered and actually worked at since you're part of Neepawa Tourism. How did that go down there?
Well, I got to tell you, Casper, things rolled along pretty darn good on this inaugural Makers Market. And if you watch the show, the Story Behind the Stories, with any regularity, or if you read the paper with any regularity, you know that I'll usually not write these stories because I am a board member as well. I'm the board chair of Neepawa Tourism, a volunteer group, and I don't want it to look like I'm sort of shilling for the group, that I'm trying to pat ourselves on the back. I always try and hope that either Casper or Kira will sort of step up, and they do. And but then this one comes along, and just their plates were so busy this week. I sort of stepped in and said, all right, since I was a little light this week, so I figured, all right, I'll take this one. And it's great to be able to share this story. And it's the thing is, Casper, as well, in essence, this isn't my story. I was just a witness to what happened behind the scenes. Even though I am the board chair, this was taken on in a large part by a board member, Kelsey Wilson, Marilyn Crew, with the town of Neepawa as well, and so many other individuals part of it. I was just one of the cogs in the wheel this time out, and it was great to see the enthusiasm, just the energy, and a little bit of worry. Maybe you won't see it in this story, but there was a little bit of concern about what if this flops? What if this just flatlines? Because this was the first major event of any way, shape, or form for Neepawa in 8 months in terms of a collective group assembling together. Fortunately, everything played out pretty darn well. Some people had an expectation of, if we get 500 people there, we'll be happy. My mindset was, if you get between 750 and 1,000 for that day and a half in which it was open, that's cake. That's icing on the cake. We not only hit that initial number, we not only surpassed my expectation, Casper, we went over the edge, 1,031, if I remember correctly, exceeding our expectations above and beyond. 37 vendors, all busy, all of them really happy. The wind was picked up a little bit on Saturday. It was a little bit warm. As you might be able to tell, I'm not quite as translucent as I normally am here in front of the cameras. I got a pretty good farmer's tan going right now, and even the forehead, which is usually sort of high gloss, has got a little bit of a matte finish to it right now. So I got a little Irish and sun don't usually mix, and this is a classic example of it. So
yeah, I can attest to that for sure. Being part Irish, I burn so easy.
Yeah.
But it's very good to see that this went over so well. I had originally planned on going down there, but just other things came up and I couldn't. But seeing all the photos and reading the story, it's amazing that it turned out so well. And I hope it does become an annual thing, because it'd be something new for the community to do every year.
That's right, Casper, because you got to have that outside the box thinking there. And Kelsey, who really deserves all the praise on this one, definitely came up above and beyond there. So I'd like to take the credit. I can't take the credit. Kelsey, Marilyn, and so many other individuals as a part of this. Barb, Jeff, Kate. I'm sorry. I'm gonna forget. Daryl. I'm gonna forget names, and I apologize for that. But everybody involved with tourism, really, just kudos on that.
Absolutely, and tourism, you should be proud of this for sure, and hopefully the Neepawa community is proud of this as well. And I look forward to hopefully seeing it built on for future years. We will move on though. We got a lot to cover. And with this being a big news thing, we have more big news things to talk about. Our next story here is actually for Minnedosa getting a new arena projected around like $8 million, was it?
A long-awaited project, that's right, Casper, that they have so been looking forward to for 12 years actually in the making for this. I had an opportunity to talk to members of the Minnedosa Recreation Enhancement Committee and the mayor who have been involved in this for the entire get-go of this. This has been stop and start for so long for Minnedosa. So you could see a lot of smiles. I was there on Tuesday the 27th, I want to say 27th?
I believe so, yep.
Yep. When they made the official announcement on the grounds there, just right by the hill in Minnedosa, by the what they nicknamed the Ag Grounds. And they were just so excited about it. It's like Casper shared with you, it is an $8 million project. They got $6.9 million already shored away. And the reason they're able to do this is they recently got some new federal funding from a federal grant of $3.75 million. That put them in a place where they felt comfortable. Let's start putting some work together. Let's get this thing going, and we'll get the other $1.1 million through fundraising, sponsorships. And they're very optimistic that it will happen. And they're thinking either the end of the year, this year, Casper, or the start of next year, they're going to put a shovel in the ground and they're going to get going. They're going through some of the design process right now. $8 million, believe it or not, $8 million ain't all that much for a new recreation facility nowadays. When you look down the road at Portage or up to Dauphin, Verdun as well is another example of those big ticket items. Even smaller ones, like there's a new arena in Rivers, very well done. The Killarney Shamrock Center as well, exceptionally done. Those are still between 8 to 11 million just for those quote-unquote smaller projects. But Minnedosa, I'm optimistic, is really going to come through on that. And I could say a thing or two about being a little envious of them sitting here in Neepawa, but I'm on the fence right now, Casper, whether I got an monthly editorial coming up right now, and I'm not sure whether I want to talk about the possible federal election or whether I should talk about this little case of arena envy here right now. I guess you'll find out in a couple weeks' time when it's on the pages of the paper, but I got a few things to say on both those topics for sure.
Oh, I'm sure. I know you've talked about this topic a lot in the office in the past, but it's definitely come up again now. And depending on how the design process goes for the Minnedosa Arena, it could bump up the price, obviously, depending on what they want to do. And I really look forward to seeing it. Like, I don't know how old their current arena is.
I think the 40s.
Okay.
40s. It is an old wood structure as well. It is unique in that way. And when you hear it described, it does sound cool. But when you walk in there, it's like, oh, God. Good thing I brought the big jacket with me.
Yeah.
You know what's going to be nice, Casper, as well about this new one? Is, again, when you say arena, you think just hockey and all that. But it's not like that anymore. It's like a multi-purpose facility where you're going to have like walking tracks or a gymnasium or something for the kids. Like more and more towns are thinking, yeah, an arena's nice, but it's got to be more than that. Because an arena can only be used like 8 months a year. What are we going to do for those other 4 months? What are we going to do to make sure that the community gets to use this 24/7, 365? So. Yeah,
and that's a great thing to think about for sure. Not just in terms of keeping it in use, because lots of expense in an arena.
Oh yeah.
You're paying for a lot of stuff, even if it's not really getting used a whole lot. But also in the sense of it'll provide more for the community to do throughout the year.
Yep.
And just keep people active, keep them entertained, because you need that stuff in your life. You need things to do, whether it's just going for a walk or what have you. But yeah, I think it's going to make some people's dreams come true for sure.
You know what's kind of funny as well? The last couple weeks in the paper, we've been talking about all this cool stuff that's ending up in Minnedosa. And Minnedosa already had a bunch of cool stuff even before this, I mean, the biking trail, which talked about in a previous episode of the Story Behind the Stories, the arena now. We're also talked about the Splish Splash a lot. Even though we don't have it on the list, there was a life jacket sort of presentation that happened in Meadosa, sort of. We just didn't have it on our list this week because we didn't have the time. But all this stuff going on just down the road there, and it's good to see. We're proud, we're pleased with that, but at the same time, a little envious.
Yeah, we're just like, can we get something like that here?
Yeah.
Maybe, please. But it's very good to see that our neighbors down the road from us are growing in such a way. Always good to see that.
Although at the same time, it's kind of easy for us to say that because neither of us pay property taxes right now. We're both essentially renters, so I guess that's easy for us to say.
Yeah, it'll get to us eventually, I suppose.
Yeah.
Speaking of dreams coming true, though, the second annual Dream Ride was held recently. That was on the 24th at Riding Mountain National Park. And they blew last year out of the water. I highlighted the numbers here, and they had 30 cyclists and 13 walkers this year. And the goal for last year was 22,000. Or sorry, that's what they got last year. Mm-hmm. And so they're just hoping to reach that or reach past it a little bit there. Well, they really blew it out of the water. They almost doubled that this year. The exact amount was $42,506 as of Tuesday, July 27th. So just incredible. And all of that is going to help two little girls from Brandon, Bree and Arya, who are sisters and are both dealing with some severe illnesses there. Ewing sarcoma and metachromatic leukodystrophy. I tried to say that early in the office too, and it didn't go well. But it's going to help them out a lot. And I'm so amazed that they got that amount.
You know what I really like about that as well, Casper, is last year's was a Neepawa, an area-based individual who was receiving support from it. So obviously a lot of people in and around Neepawa jumped at the chance to support it, which is great. This year, because it wasn't sort of in our area, there was the concern that maybe we won't be as willing to sort of step up and lend a hand, but that's not the case. I mean, a lot of people from Neepawa saw the value, donated their time to do the ride. From what I hear, I believe Titans coach and general manager Ken Pearson was one of them. He had raised donations to bike. If I remember right, he started biking, and his bike broke during it, but he powered through. He just walked the rest of it with the bike, I believe. So kudos on that. I mean, that's just another example of just wanting to help out in any way, shape, or form, and then following through. That's
Absolutely,
great.
Yeah. We always love to see area people getting the support they need, but seeing things like this for people who are even outside of our area getting that amount of support is just incredible, especially for things like this when the extra help is definitely much appreciated, because these are hard things to deal with, and it'll make some little kids very happy for sure.
Yep. Yeah, no, it really, yeah. Kudos once again. I mean, love to be able to share those types of stories.
Absolutely. And we have kind of a interesting story here coming up next, yeah. To say the least. We got a little email here from Rob Smith, an area local and reader of the Banner Press, accounting a personal incident that he did submit for print to us regarding a close call with a train.
Oh, geez, yeah. Close. Close.
Which
it's downplaying a little. But
we didn't want to blow it up, but
oh, jeez.
Okay.
All right.
And any sort of
now you're just
phrase
steamrolling
here
through
gonna,
the story, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get
But when we say close, definitely close for sure. But don't worry. I will stress from the start. Everything was fine. Nobody got hurt. We're all good.
Yeah.
But he was leaving the grounds of the Manitoba Agricultural Museum because there was a project that I believe his brother-in-law, I can't remember off the top of my head there, was helping with, and he was helping with as well, just hauling stuff away. And this was on July 23rd this happened, but he was going down some back roads and was going to cross one of the railway track intersections there. Mm-hmm. And his truck does not start well in the heat, and it was a hot day. Started slowing to a crawl towards the tracks and ended up stalling on said tracks. So he did start trying to get it started up again, obviously, as you would do. Mm-hmm. And noticed that there was a train on its way. Don't know how far back it was when he saw this, but obviously he had ample time to try few different things.
I couldn't even imagine the mindset at that moment.
Oh, I know, just the sheer panic. I don't know how he presumably kept a level head through all of this, because I would just be panicking, just like, nope, I'm out of here. Whatever happens. But no, he tried to get it started again. That didn't work because it didn't have enough juice in the battery. Tried to pry at the rear wheels of the vehicle to hopefully get it rolling off.
And it is a fair-sized vehicle. I mean, sometimes if you're in a little vehicle, you can just put her in neutral and just get some energy going. But this thing was just a behemoth, so that was a no-go. Yeah,
old grain truck with a metal container on the back, so some weight to it for sure. Mm-hmm. The prying did not work at all.
Rob's got the farm muscles, but that'll only push you so far.
Yeah, for sure. So that didn't work. His last thought there was just pop up the hood, signal that the engine's not working, let the train people know. They'll obviously see that and just, that's the universal sign, right?
Yeah.
And just started hauling out anything valuable and just stood back from a safe distance, watched it happen, just popped in the air when it got hit, did a bit of a turn, and ended up upside down.
You can buff those out. It's fine.
It's fine.
A little bit of putty. You're good.
We can get the dents out, right? Maybe, but we got a picture of that there on page 7 with Rob standing there by the truck, and it's very dinged up for sure. We're glad it turned out all right, and.
We do appreciate Rob sharing that story with us. Sometimes when something like that personal happens, you don't want to share those types of details, but he saw the bigger picture of it. I mean, of sort of, this happened to me. If it happens to you, these are the things maybe be careful of. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's a good citizen there to sort of do that and see the bigger picture.
Yeah. You always want to be careful around train tracks for sure, because you don't know if there's an error with any of the lights, which does happen on occasion. So always, if you're able to get a good look both ways. But, sometimes things just happen. Obviously this happened, and you just got to do what you can to make sure that you get out safely. And but glad all of that turned out all right. And
that's what AutoPack is for.
That's what AutoPack is for. You can maybe not necessarily in this case. It's a pretty unique truck, but you can get a new vehicle and other items. But there's some things that you can't replace. So
like Rob.
Yeah. Where would we be without Rob? We get messages from him of adventures and everything, we'd miss those.
Oh yeah.
Another thing you can do as an adventure that is a lot safer than a close call with a train, please don't go anywhere near those, is a trip down to Kelwood to support a barbecue fundraiser for the volunteer fire department there. That's being held Saturday, August 7th. And they're holding it to raise funds to just sort of help fill out the fire department there, because they have been working on it. So I think they said like about half of the department there can be considered new these days. So they just want to fill out some of the equipment that they're missing or want, finish up the bathroom there. Because the RM does pay for a lot of their big equipment that they need, but they felt that this was a good way to sort of speed the process along, get the smaller items that they can pitch in for. And aside from that, just, get people out and together again, in a sense, because it has been a long time since people have been able to do things like this. So if you're able to get out there, enjoy some food, and tour the new facility, because they are going to have that open for you, and sit in the park that they're situated near. They'll have tables set up and spread out, and have a good time.
It is really nice to be able to sort of share these types of stories right now. It's really been so long since these types of things have been in the news. So I'm not saying we're getting back to a sense of normal or back to the way things were, but it's nice to start to feel like a safe version of normal is happening, and helping out a cause like this is definitely worth your time.
Absolutely, yeah. It's like it's definitely still have to be careful with everything going on, even if you're vaccinated, because you still can get COVID-19, pass it on to other people, even if you don't get sick yourself. That's just the facts that we have to deal with. But it'll be nice to see things like this going on, and I hope that this gets a good amount of support.
Oh yeah, the Makers Market, the barbecue, and another event happening on the go, right?
Yes, we have another event coming up. The McCreary Heritage Advisory Committee is planning this in conjunction with the Burroughs Trail Arts Council and McCreary Agricultural Society. Sort of a Manitoba 150 celebration event. That'll be on Sunday, August 1st. That's this Sunday, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, the month is just blown by somehow. Don't know how, but it did. So that'll be happening this weekend. There'll be a bunch of different things going on. I'll just say a couple here. But there'll be the Brandon Road Rebels, a farmer's market, a barbecue. So definitely check out all the things that'll be happening there and support it if you can. I will stress, though, they can only have 150 people. Same with the Kelwood Fundraiser Barbecue. That's just what the restrictions are right now. As well, this event is going to be limited to double vaccinated people only. It's not something they really wanted to do, but just because of the health orders and through collaboration with the health and safety people that they've been talking to, that is what they had to go with. So I hope they still get a good turnout, and please, everyone, be understanding that that's what they need to do. There has been some comments sort of displeased with the fact that it'll be for double vaccinated only, but I hope the majority is understanding about that.
Yeah. As Casper said very eloquently there, these are the rules that are being put forth by the province. We talked about Kelwood, we talked about McCreary, we talked about the Blue Bombers, Gold Eyes as well, baseball and football teams. And if you're curious as to why, like the Makers Market, for example, was able to get over 1,000 people in there, combination of reasons. First off, it was in a large outdoor area. The space that we used helped to enlarge the amount of people we could have in there. And all 1,031 people weren't in there at once. We were well below capacities on those. So just for Kelwood, for McCreary, don't be a jerk about it. All right? Just, they're trying. They're trying their best to do some stuff for the community, and don't be that person, all right? So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It all depends what the current health orders are and what they have set out for, like, what your event or gathering would be classed as to dictate what restrictions it needs to follow. So everyone, I hope, is mindful of that and will enjoy the things that are going on there. Speaking of events, there is going to be an AGM for the Neepawa Titans, the first AGM under the Neepawa Titans name. And Owen, this was a story that you did. What walk us through that?
Well, essentially, again, a little bit of a return to normal, Casper, in that they will be able to have a physical AGM in which people can attend. It is happening in the back of the Neepawa Public Library, although, again, there are capacity limits. I think it's about 25. And again, not quite as popular as a barbecue or anything like that, so we don't expect it to be a big crowd. But it's still, if you're interested, I'm sure it will be broadcast as well at a future date on NAC TV. They've done that in the past, and I'm sure they'll probably do something like that again. And it's an opportunity, sort of, if you're a hockey fan, if you're a local hockey fan, to sort of chime in, share your views. And if you can't be there in person, actually maybe even send a letter or something to them, just your suggestions, your thoughts on what the team should be doing for the future. It's going to be interesting as well, Casper, because they didn't have a season last year, and there have been a couple other teams that have had AGMs. The Swan Valley Stampeders had theirs, and they had a profit of around $140,000 this year. Just a combination of not having to spend any money on certain things and government grants. But then the Dauphin Kings had theirs a couple days later, and they had a loss of just under $8,000. But the difference is Swan Valley's budget is along the lines of ours, about $300,000, maybe $400,000, and Dauphin is near that $1 million mark. So I don't know what they spend it on. Maybe their sticks are shinier than ours. Maybe their skates are prettier. I don't know what they maybe could get a little smarter with spending their money. But it'll be interesting to see if Neepawa is an in-between. I'm hoping it's not Dauphin, and it'd be amazing if it was Swan Valley.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the finances are going to be interesting to look at this year. I know I've covered the AGM once or twice in the past, and I don't remember what the numbers were then. But
they lost money. Everyone I've been to, with the exception of 1 year, they've lost money.
Yeah, so definitely with the circumstances this year, it'll be interesting to see where the finances for the team fall, and hopefully, like Owen said, that they are good. Yep. We are running short on time here, but we'll just run through a quick mention of our special section this week, because we do have our Farmer's Advocate, and we have a good front page photo there, canola field, I believe, and just this one stalk of corn, just peeking out, decided, hey, I'm here, I'm staying here, hello. So take a good look at that. We also have a good number of stories in there.
A lot of drought-related stuff.
A lot of drought-related stuff, unfortunately, and it's probably going to continue, but hopefully we can get through it, especially the farmers there that are struggling with it on all sorts of different aspects. And of course, thrown into the mix, we have grasshopper problems all over the province as well. So you can read up on that. And just, a whole bunch of stuff there. Good local stories, good photos. And there's always a struggle to get through everything in this paper. So be sure to pick up a hard copy. We do have to wrap things up now. But pick up the hard copy, and thank you for joining us on the Stories Behind the Stories today for this week's paper. If you would like to reach out to us, contact us at news@neepawabanner.com or 204-476-3401.
And Newsroom as well. You can take some of these emails
sure.
I got to go through.
Newsroom@neepawapress.com. Sure, why not? Send us your letters, story tips, photos, anything. And of course, ads at neepawabanner.com. We rely on the ads of the community to keep us going because we are a free paper. And once again, thank you very much, and bye for now.